So guys, I'm gonna go on a rant today. So today I'm gonna talk about keymaps. I use Blender, I use Substance Painter, I use Marvelous Designer, I use ZBrush, I use a lot of tools. And the thing about being a freelance character artist is that you will have to use a lot of tools, especially if you're trying to work in the industry. But I know there's this thing about Blender not being the industry standard tool, but if you're gonna work in the industry, you need to learn a lot of tools. And Blender's keymap is weird. It's really annoying. So if you're coming from Maya, you're coming from whatever software, you all know that everybody uses Maya's hotkeys, Maya's interface. So if you're going to be using Blender and Substance Painter, it does not make sense to use Blender's hotkeys. It does not make sense at all. It's frustrating because your muscle memory cannot go through so many softwares and keep using. For example, I use ZBrush. ZBrush hotkeys are awesome. The reason ZBrush hotkeys are awesome is because I use a pen and a tablet when I'm using ZBrush. When I'm using Blender and other software, I switch to mouse. So my muscle memory is like, okay, I've switched to pen now, so I can actually use the ZBrush hotkeys, which ZBrush is kind of weird too, but it makes sense because I'm in sculpting mode. But if I'm going to Blender and I know I'm going to be using the mouse and the keyboard all the time, I have to it kills me. So I would advise you, if you're using Blender with other software, you should switch to the keymaps. And it should go to industry standard keymaps. It's not hard at all. Just go to keymaps, change this to industry standard. Thank me later. Except there's a one caveat. If you are going to be using Blender all through and you're never going to switch to any software, which I don't see how that is possible. I don't think it's possible to just use one software. I know you can just use Blender for everything, but you will, one time when you're growing in your skill in the field, you will have to go to a software that's really good at something. Like for texturing, Blender's texturing is garbage. And you have to go to Marvelous Designer to do really amazing code if you're going to do something really dope. So the reason I'm making this video is just to rant and talk about why you should actually do that. So this is my own 2 cents. Just go here, change it to industry standard. And the cool thing about Blender's keymap is that you could edit them. Like if things that you're used to that you don't really give a shit about in in other tools, then there's no big deal. You just use those same keymap you were using in Blender. You could just search 3D view, go to mesh, and let me see. Let's say I'm looking for mesh, for example. I think if I press M or something, yeah, and I'm looking for key binding rather, and I'm looking for mesh because I actually changed my mesh to the Blender mesh tool. So I think it should be showing here, right here. And what this means is you basically you actually just search what you want to do, because Blender has a list of tools that comes with Blender, so they have keymaps for that. But when it switched to industry standard, there's some things you are probably used to in Blender and you just don't want to go crazy. Basically what you really need in Blender is, hold on, I'm just going to move this. I'm just going to create something, mesh, go to quad. What the hell just happened? Mesh, and just go to UV sphere, yeah. And what you really need is pressing Alt and left mouse, middle mouse, and keep pressing Alt and press the middle mouse button and pressing Alt and the right click to zoom in. Because in Blender you have to use Shift and Control. I've been using the industry standard for a while and I am so used to this that I can't remember Blender's hotkeys anymore. So, and another thing you need in the industry standard, which is from software to software, like 3ds Max, Maya, Cinema 4D, you just use the W. I press W and I get the gizmo. Why in Blender you don't get any gizmo? crazy. I don't know what that means. Because I came from another 3D software to Blender. If you are a native Blender user, you only use Blender, this will like say it's not a big deal, you can just move around, but it doesn't make sense. Every other 3D software, even ZBrush excuse me, even ZBrush uses a gizmo. Like, so every time I want to use a gizmo, I have to come here and press. It's crazy. I need a shortcut and I need to see my gizmo. So this makes sense to me because I come from other 3D software. I didn't start with Blender. So, and if I press and if you go to Unreal Engine, if you're going to be going to gaming and real time, the same thing works. So it doesn't make sense to use Blender because your muscle memory, I'm telling you guys, just listen to what I'm saying. So yeah, exactly. So this is the reason you want to use this. Everything stays the same. You can have some keywords change, so you just like you can go change them here where maybe you're used to, like exactly like I'm used to. So you can actually press a key. Maybe I can press H or something. What just happened? Oh, H was for something. I think I've crashed my Blender. H was for something and I just did something crazy. But anyways, I'm just going to use something else because I don't want to waste time on this. So for example, sequencer, I can change this to maybe like Q, and it to change because the reason why it does that because this key binding is on M. So if I press Q now, I'm sure I will see, because I used H before for my merge, so I'm sure I will see my merge now. Come on, where are you? Yeah, merge is H. So it changes. So when you do this, it changes. You might have to go add your own key maps that don't exist because they might not assign in the industry standard, might not assign a key map to the tool you're using. So what I did to get what I really wanted was that I went back and forth through industry standard and Blender to just compare the key maps and like, okay, what I'm comfortable with. What I'm comfortable with, I actually just transfer them to my key maps, and maybe the Blender industry standard thing is not perfect and all that, but because I kind of go back to Maya sometimes, so I think this is really useful. I think everybody should try this, should use this. It's really amazing, and I think this is a good advice. I just thought I should share this. I don't think a lot of people know that the Blender industry standard is useful. Some people are kind of scared. Some people are kind of weird. Another thing I use is that every other 3DCC software uses. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I don't want my preference to save, so I'm just turn this off so that when I reset my Blender, this mess I just made is not gonna go. So every DCC software uses centimeters and Blender uses meters, and that's crazy. So if, for example, you want to like move from software to software, you probably need centimeters and stuff. But I wouldn't advise that because what I used to do before, but my unit scale, I'll put this to 0.001, I think. That's centimeters, and I'll change this to like metric. Yeah, I mean, I'll change it length to centimeters, and that's good. Then I actually go here and I change this to, where's that place? Yeah, and I change the scale of the scene to 0.001, I guess, and it comes back to normal and okay. But the thing is that every other thing in Blender doesn't work in centimeters. What you just change is just, you don't really change anything really. You just change the scene. You just change the scene scale and stuff, because when you use a light, it's still going to come out small like this, so you have to scale everything just to match your centimeter thing. So I don't advise this. I think you should just still stick in meters. The only reason why I think you should do this is because if you are, let me just change this to 1. So if you are using Blender for, if you're going to take stuff to maybe Marvelous Designer uses centimeters sometimes. So and you bring in stuff, the scale matches. But if you are going to switch, it's really confusing. This whole thing just matters if you're going to be going out of Blender. If you're going to stay in Blender, it doesn't freaking matter. So yes, that's pretty much it. I think If I hope I'm not forgetting anything. So yeah, so this is my 2 cents. And if you're thinking that I'm just a dude on the internet and I'm not, I don't know what I'm saying, but I my works are shitty. Who gives me the right? I this is just my opinion, so don't think anything of it. But if you want to check out my works, I actually have some cool works. You can go to my art station. It's down below. The link is down below, and you can check it out and see some of my works. I know a thing or two about character art. I'm not bragging or anything, but yeah, it's just a vlog kind of video, so don't take it personal. Just an opinion on the internet, guys. Do not come for me. So I'll see you guys later on my next video. Hopefully I try my best to bring them every week. So advice or tutorials. I'm gonna bring tutorials. I don't think it's just gonna be like me just talking about shit or add-ons and stuff. I'm going to bring out tutorials and stuff. I'm just trying to make it as personal as possible. It's just me, just whatever I think it's useful, or all the knowledge I've learned in my years of experience in doing this 3D character art stuff. I want to share as much, and I don't want to put so much pressure on myself in sharing this thing. I just want to bring them one a week, so it's not too much pressure, and I don't feel like I'm obligated too much to do this. So I'll see you guys later, to the 2 people or 5 people that watch this. Thank you. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.